New fears tonight that the breakdown at the border is exactly what ISIS and other violent extremists have been waiting for. The chaos creates the perfect cover for these operatives to sneak sleeper cells into the United States. Might they already be here? With me now, former Deputy Assistant Secretary of Defense for Nuclear Forces in the Reagan administration and President of the Center for Security Policy, my friend Frank Gaffney. Good evening, Frank.
Good evening, Judge.
You know, Frank, you are an expert on what is going on in the Middle East. You know, ISIS, the caliphate, and their attempt to literally regionalize their organization and to eliminate national borders. Do you believe that, given what's going on in our southern border, on our border, that we are at risk by those people?
Well, I actually consider this to be a global jihad, a part of, if you will, the war for the free world. I really think that's what's at stake, is freedom more generally, not just in regions, as you say, of the Middle East, but worldwide, and including here. And I think there's no question that what we're seeing is growing evidence that enemies of this country who have a shared goal, namely the imposition of Sharia and its according to Sharia by a caliphate, whether they're organized or flying the banner of the Islamic State, whether they're Al-Qaeda, whether they're Hamas, whether they're Hezbollah, whether they're the Taliban, they all agree that this is, in fact, their purpose. Even the Iranians, who have differences on some points of Islam, all are agreed that Sharia is the way. And I think they are, in fact, exploiting the porousness of our borders. They are, in fact, here in places, at very least, some sleeper cells have been identified, and more are almost certainly on their way.
Well, you know, reports this week say that ISIS militants seized nuclear materials in Iraq. Your reaction to that?
Well, it was nuclear materials in Iraq this week. It was a chemical weapons facility the last week. They were parading around a Scud missile recently as well. They are, in short, now acquiring basically the means for mass destruction of various kinds. And unfortunately, when you compound that with what Iran is also acquiring in that regard, what Syria and other nations have that have the potential to fall into bad guys' hands, including Hezbollah's, you really see this problem metastasizing, and it is a threat. Just as in your previous segment, you made the point, Judge, and in your opening, there is a threat to the public safety of the American people as well as the national security, and I'm really appalled that the Obama administration is actually exacerbating this problem rather than protecting us against them.
You know, Frank, I think it's very interesting that, if you recall, right after Benghazi, the Obama administration went out and bought advertisements to apologize to the Muslim world for a video that had nothing to do with anything that we paid for, meaning the advertisement. I think that they would do the same thing in Central America, saying, even though we said that kids who are here illegally are, you know, we're going to give them citizenship, don't come over here. I mean, why do you think he's doing this to us?
My personal assessment of it, Judge, is that this is part of the administration's plan. I think that they have sought to bring more illegal aliens into this country. I think they are considering them incipient Democratic voters. I think that they believe that, to the extent that they can intensify the pressure from such influxes of illegal aliens, they can have their way with the Congress, whether it's the $4 billion that they're asking for now, or maybe comprehensive immigration reform. In any way, I think their purpose ultimately is a wrecking operation on the republic that we love. And I think this is only one aspect of it, but a particularly insidious one.
Well, you know, it's really a shame, because it's not just changing the demographics. I mean, we're talking public health issues as well. Frank Gaffney, always good to have you on. Thanks so much.
Thank you, man. Good to talk with you.